What is credit? The amount of money a creditor is willing to loan another to purchase goods and services based on the expectation that the money will be repaid as promised, most of the time with interest. Now, one thing we have to remember here is we are borrowing something that's not ours. So credit can come in many forms. So we'll go over this on the next slide. Now, credit history lasts 6 years and is extremely easy to ruin and really hard to fix. So this is extremely important to take into account. Credit history lasts 6 years. A lot of people, when they graduate high school and they enter university, right when they turn 19, they get a credit card, they max it out, never pay it off. Now, this will follow you until you pay off that card. And once you pay off that card, that infraction of, not paying off your credit card statements, maxing your credit card at such a young age, that will follow you for another 6 years. Now, in 6 years, your life can change a lot. So it's extremely important to, keep a good credit, pay off everything on time. We'll go more in depth on strategies later in the presentation. But, one thing we should take account is, 6 years is a long time, and we definitely want to, stay ahead of our credit, pay everything on time and all that. Now, some quick examples of credit. Now, probably the first one that everyone thought of when we say credit is a credit card. This is pretty simple. When you're in Canada, you can get one in 19. Now, typically, you can get it around $500 right out of high school, like once you turn 19. But some people are eligible to get even higher ones, up to $1,000. Just depends from case to case and person to person. Now, the second most popular one that most people thought of would be a car loan. And the last one that we have an example of, not too many people think about it, but it's still an example of credit because we're borrowing something that's not ours. It's going to be overdraft protection. So this is the protection your bank account has to going into negative. So let's say you only have $50 in your bank account, a $100 expense happens, you'll be in the negatives. You'll be negative $50. So that $50 that bill took, you're borrowing it from your bank. You eventually have to pay it back. It might have interest, it might not. It varies from bank account to bank account. Now, to go more in depth on credit and debt, more specifically, we have a video, and we'll quickly cue that, and we'll move on with the course.
Kevin, you have to see this hilarious cat video I just found.
Oh, I love cat videos.
Do you feel that pressure mounting in your chest? It
Oh,
can
this
take
is
hold of
pretty
your
well.
life and never let go, like a virus, following you all day and watching you while you sleep.
What?
This is the crippling world of debt, and it's coming for you.
No, Beth. I'm not going to sit here and watch this video about debt. Yo, it freaks me out.
That was before the
Beth,
cat video.
you can't make me watch that. Oh,
The cat video?
No, you can't make me watch it, Beth.
Whoa, not all debt is bad. And as long as you know how it works, debt can't necessarily hurt you. Despite what you may hear on TV, debt doesn't have to be scary. In a lot of ways, properly managed debt can actually be a good thing. To start with the basics, debt is money that you borrowed and need to repay. You also have to pay interest, a percentage of the borrowed amount that's tacked onto your final bill. Interest gives lenders a much-needed incentive to bankroll your purchases. However, interest is where debt can get a little sticky. For credit cards in particular, if you aren't diligent about making payments, the interest can build and build, leaving you on the hook for a sum of cash that is much larger than you anticipated. That's what we call bad debt. You can avoid bad debt by steering clear of frequent high-interest borrowing, like maxing out credit cards, not spending money you don't have on things you don't absolutely need, and not letting your debt balance linger. Then there's good debt. Good debt is really anything that makes sense to pay for over time. This category includes low-interest loans and purchases that can appreciate in value. Two of the best examples of good debt are mortgages and student loans, both of which have long-term value and generous interest rates. Good debt can also include smaller, shorter-term loans that can help you build a strong credit history. Select car loans fall into this category, along with limited amounts of low-interest credit card spending. Debt isn't something to fool around with, but it isn't something to be afraid of either. You don't believe me? Okay. To show you how much you can trust me, here's an adorable cat video.
Now, to finish up this section, we're going to talk about if we actually need credit. So for do you need credit? Number one, it's good to have in times of emergency. Sometimes it's Monday, you get paid Friday. setting car repair and it's a need, you must get your car repaired or else you're not going to be able to get groceries, go to work, and continue the rest of your life. It'll be it might not be a bad idea to use credit in this situation to get you out of a rough situation. Now, credit cards can also help you with your day-to-day purchases in time of cash shortage. This is the exact same kind of what I was just mentioning earlier. A couple of days before payday and you have to get your groceries, but you'll still be able to afford them because payday is coming soon. It's definitely not a bad idea to put these purchases on your credit card as they are already routine purchases. It can be referred to when applying for a job or renting. Now, typically when you're university student, you're applying for your first place. You're not going to have too much of a credit history to go off. But, once you're out of that stage in your life, some landlords are going to require credit checks. And so it's definitely a good idea to have credit and, a good credit score in this point. For jobs, they're usually like higher up the corporate ladder, more professional jobs because, your credit score is a way of seeing how responsible and reliable you are. So this is definitely something to keep aware of. If you're definitely applying for jobs right at university, don't be surprised if they ask for a credit check in the future. Also, traveling, security deposits at hotels and car rental agencies. If you ever want to get an Airbnb, a hotel, or rent a car, they're probably going to have a credit. You probably have to give them a credit card, and they'll probably charge it for $100 to $500 just as collateral in case something goes wrong with the hotel or car rental. Online purchases. Sometimes you buy things from websites like Amazon that are super trustworthy. You may make a non-routine purchase on a website that may not look the most trustworthy. If something goes wrong there, but you charge it to a credit card, there are security measures put in place, so you will be able to get your money back if everything goes wrong. So it's definitely a good idea to use, your credit card for online purchases for that added security benefit. Then credit history should be built up when you need large financing, such as buying a car or home. We use our credit card, typically every single day, pay it off every single month. After doing this for a couple months, couple years, when you build your credit score up, you're able to, apply for a mortgage, apply for a car loan. And if you have a good credit score, you've been smart, you've been doing all the strategies that we're going to teach you in the next couple of slides, then you're going to be paying a lot less interest than most other individuals. Now, quick true or false. You've been giving a credit card name in your own name. It's linked to your spouse's account. It's not a joint account. With this credit card, will this credit card help you build your credit? So it's not a joint account. So if we look at it, if it's going to be a true or false, some people might think it's true, some people might think it's false. Now the answer is false. Now another similar example is a co-signer relationship with a vehicle. Now the reason why it's false is it has your own name, but it's linked to your spouse's account. So at the end of the day, the credit card might have your name, but the account is your spouse's. So if you miss a payment, you make a really big payment, you have a large transaction on it, like a large purchase. If you don't pay that at the end of the day, it's your spouse who's liable at the end of the day. So that's why you won't build credit, because it's in your spouse's name. So this is everything for 6.2 for credit. We have a couple linked videos in the website. Definitely feel free to watch those if you want to expand your knowledge on credit cards and other credit facilities. We also have a mandatory assignment called Categorizing Credit. Definitely complete this. Now, once you watch all those videos and complete that assignment, we'll see you guys all in 6.3.